Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about body awareness, power, and feeling like yourself through pregnancy and postpartum. I have in my physiotherapy career treated so many women who are pregnant and after having a baby, whether that's 6-8 weeks after having a baby or 30 years after having a baby or more. So many people have long-lasting effects from this massive life event that many women go through. And the really interesting thing to me is that we get taught certain things, and certain things are talked about in our culture. We're even starting to talk a little bit more about pelvic floor health and urinary incontinence and other pelvic issues. Diastasis recti is becoming very well recognized and truly very well treated by a lot of professionals. I'm really happy to see that. And I just don't think, though, that there can be enough conversation about the massive changes that happen here. I've been teaching a class of prenatal yogis, and it has been so much fun, especially going through that process on my own as well. And a huge thing that all of us have noticed is your posture changes in a really sneaky way over time. Of course, your belly just doesn't get huge overnight, though some days it seems like it does, let me tell you. It gradually grows and our body gradually adapts. The sneaky thing about that is that so much change can happen without us being aware of it. Not that that's a bad thing at all. Our bodies are super efficient and they're amazing. So more weight on the front, the body says, sure, I'll shift your hips forward, I'll round your shoulders forward, or I'll compensate by sticking your bum way out back and creating a big curve in your lumbar spine. Everyone has a different compensation, but all of our bodies start to do this. I have never been one to stand with my hips forward, and the other day I was standing somewhere waiting for something and my hips were like 6 inches forward of my ankles. It's like, wow, this is very sneaky because I'm really aware of this and it happens. So a really important thing here is that this isn't inherently bad. And I mentioned in one of my Instagram posts the other day, when people bring up, or I bring up, the conversation around posture, there's a lot of shame. There's a lot of, oh, my posture should be better. Oh, I know my shoulders are really rounded. And people get down about it, and they truly do feel bad about themselves in relation to their posture. And posture is something that matters in certain ways. So I'll try and articulate that because I think it's a really important part of the conversation. Posture matters when it puts certain muscles at an advantage or disadvantage. Let's use the hips forward example. When your hips sway way forward, a couple of things that happen are your glute muscles tend to be at a disadvantage because they are shortened, so they don't have a lot of power there. And the same thing happens with the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor gets shortened and condensed and has a hard time lengthening, opening, and relaxing. So while it's not dangerous to stand with your hips forward for 5 minutes, to have that long-term habit can cause changes in your body that may make you more susceptible to injury. Can you see how that nuance is there? So the posture itself isn't bad, but the long-term effects of that posture can create extra challenges for the body and can put us at risk of injury. It's the same thing with shoulders. So shoulders rounding forward is a super common posture in our society. Thank you, smartphones and computers, and all of the time that we all spend at them. That inherently in itself isn't bad. All of us mostly probably sit like that when we're watching TV or scrolling on our phones. If you're there for 5 minutes, cool. Stand up and do something different. If you're there for hours and hours and hours on end, You teach your body that you live there, and then your body says, okay, I'll adapt for you, just like I mentioned in the pregnancy example. And certain muscles start to shorten, certain muscles start to lengthen. And then one day you go to lift your arm way overhead and find out, wow, that's really hard, or oh, that really hurts. What's wrong with my shoulder? So again, you can see how shoulders forward, not inherently dangerous. Living here, yeah, it might create some extra challenges for you. So when it comes to going through pregnancy and then having a baby and being postpartum, there's a lot going on there. I haven't made it there yet, but I'm very aware that in the postpartum period, your body is recovering from birth and you have a newborn. You have this little being that needs all of your attention. What is your body doing? You don't know. You're not sleeping very well. Hopefully you're eating well. Hopefully you have good supports in your life to help you out with that. And hopefully you're giving yourself every advantage to heal and taking some time to come back to yourself if you have it. But those sneaky posture changes that probably started happening in pregnancy, they just keep happening because the body's not getting any other input. And of course, we've gone through another massive change by having a baby inside of us to not. So now the body's kind of confused. It doesn't really know what to do, so it just keeps on the same path. I have established these patterns, so I'll keep going with these patterns, kind of like what our subconscious mind does. And again, not inherently dangerous. I've seen lots of people who haven't had postpartum rehab and they do fine. But I've seen lots of people who haven't had postpartum rehab and they're not really fine. Or 30, 40 years later, they have terrible back pain or hip dysfunction or any kind of other issues. And it probably could have been changed by a bit of education and support around that postpartum period. So gaining awareness of your body during pregnancy and what your body is up to and how you're compensating for that extra load of your baby can have such amazing effects for you after you've given birth. And when you don't have time to pay as much attention to your body, that awareness can potentially be more of a built-in system for you and help you to truly come back to yourself and adjust to the posture that your body needs at that time, not the posture that your body needed 2 months ago. And another super important element of this is, of course, our whole bodies are affected when we go through pregnancy and give birth and become a new mom. But a major part of the body that's affected is from underneath the rib cage down to the pelvic floor. And there's 3 massive energetic centers there, the first, second, and third chakras. So if you don't know too much about the chakras, they're described as spinning wheels of energy in the body, but that doesn't really do them a complete service. They symbolize areas in our body that are connected to different aspects of our lives. So our first chakra is connected to our sense of grounding and our sense of safety, our sense of security within ourselves. Our second chakra is connected to our fluidity in life and our emotions. And our third chakra is connected to our sense of personal power, our self-confidence, the way we present ourselves in the world. So if that speaks to you, if all of these changes that you've gone through have completely affected those 3 energetic centers and potentially thrown them off balance or thrown them into a lack of awareness, how can that not affect the rest of your body and the way that you are comporting yourself? We are whole beings. We are all connected. Everything that our physical body does does affect our emotions, it does affect our energy. So being aware of those changes in our energetic body puts you at such an advantage to going forward in your life and feeling good about yourself, feeling like yourself again, and being the best mom that you can be for your new baby. So if this is interesting to you, check out the link below and sign up for my webinar. I am going to do a whole webinar on this entire topic in April 13th. That's a Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. So the link to register for the webinar is below. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I would be over the moon to answer them. This is something I'm super passionate about. If you like this video, please hit like, and if you don't want to miss future videos from me, please hit subscribe. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and don't forget to take excellent care of yourself.